If Mambokazi does not open her mouth and tell Zwelakhe the truth about his father this week, I honestly do not know what it is going to take, because this woman has officially become the most frustrating character on this show, and I say that with all the love in my heart for Hlenje Lashobamadlola, because she is playing this role so well that I want to reach through my screen and shake her. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please subscribe because we do Kwababa breakdowns every single week and you do not want to miss what is coming. And if you have been rocking with us since episode 1, then you already know the drill. Grab your tea because today we are talking about the 6th of August episode and everything that is unfolding around Zwelakhe's paternity secret. So let's just get into it, because there is a lot to unpack. The biggest talking point this week, and honestly for weeks now, has been this paternity storyline hanging over the Mambokazi household like a dark cloud that refuses to move. Zwelakhe has spent his entire life believing he is the firstborn son of the late Bab Mambokazi, the rightful Inkosana, the one who is supposed to inherit everything and lead this family into the future. That belief is the foundation of who he is. It is why he works so hard, it is why he carries himself the way he does, it is why he feels so entitled to lead. But now that foundation is cracking, and honestly, watching it crack in real time has been some of the best drama this show has given us so far. What gets me every single week is how Mambokazi keeps circling around the truth without actually landing on it. She will start a sentence, get halfway through, and then pull back like the words are burning her tongue. And I understand, as a mother, that this is not an easy thing to confess, especially when your son's entire identity and his standing in the family is built on top of a lie you have been carrying for decades. But at some point, Cece, you have to rip the plaster off. You cannot keep hiding behind prayer and behind tradition and behind being seen as this respected, faith-led matriarch while your son is out here confused, angry, and slowly losing his grip on who he thinks he is. Hiding is not protecting him anymore, it is just delaying the pain, and delayed pain in these shows always comes back worse. Now let's talk about Dumisani, because this man is playing a very long and very patient game. From what we are seeing, Dumisani has picked up on the cracks in Zwelakhe's story and he is not wasting any time. He is the type of character who does not need to shout to be dangerous, he just watches, he waits, and he collects information like ammunition. The moment he has enough to use against Zwelakhe, he is going to use it, and he is going to use it publicly, in the most humiliating way possible, probably right when Zwelakhe is at his most vulnerable, which, if you know how these shows work, means right around the lobola negotiations or some big family gathering where everyone is watching. That is just how it goes. The reveal never happens quietly in a back room, it always happens in front of the whole family, in front of the in-laws, in front of everybody who has ever doubted him. And can we talk about Mlobo for a second, because his arc this week is honestly giving me a bit of hope in an otherwise heavy storyline. This is a young man who has spent a long time being easily led, easily manipulated, doing whatever his father tells him to do without really questioning it. But we are starting to see him push back a little, starting to see him stand on his own 2 feet, even snooping around trying to find documents and answers on his own instead of just accepting whatever narrative he has been fed. That takes a certain kind of courage in this family, because going against the grain in the Mambokazi household clearly comes with consequences. His wife calling him out, telling him he does not have a voice of his own, that he is just doing whatever his father says instead of being a man and defending his own family, that hit different. Sometimes it takes someone close to you, someone who loves you, to say the hard thing you need to hear, and I think that confrontation is going to push Mlobo to actually choose a side, his family's side, instead of just being his father's puppet. Then there is Zwelakhe's own inner conflict, and honestly this is where the show is doing its best work right now. Imagine spending your whole life believing you are someone's son, building your dreams around that identity, and then slowly, piece by piece, watching that identity get questioned. He has gone to the Sangoma, he has heard that his ancestors, his real ancestors, are looking for him, which is such a heavy and loaded thing to hear in our culture. That is not something you can just brush off. That is the kind of message that sits with you, that keeps you up at night, that makes you question every single thing you thought you knew about where you come from. And the show is doing a good job of making us feel that unease alongside him, because we do not fully know the truth either. We are digging right along with him. I also want to bring up the tension between Zwelakhe and his uncle, because that scene where his uncle basically tells him to just stay out of it, that it is not his business, that was so telling. When people in the family keep shutting you down every time you try to ask questions about your own history, that alone should tell you there is something they are protecting. Nobody gets that defensive over nothing. And Zwelakhe, to his credit, is not backing down. He wants answers, and he has decided that if the people around him will not give him the truth willingly, he is going to go and find it himself, which from what we understand is going to eventually lead him to take DNA testing into his own hands. That is a huge step, because once that test comes back, there is no more room for denial, there is no more room for Mambokazi to change the subject or redirect the conversation. The truth will be sitting right there in black and white, undeniable, and everybody is going to have to deal with the fallout. Let's also touch on the Lobola storyline running alongside all of this, because Zwelakhe and Bahumi's relationship keeps getting caught in the crossfire of this family drama. Every time these two seem to be moving forward, something from the Mackay side pulls them back, whether it is a family feud, a negotiation gone wrong, or now this paternity cloud hanging over everything. And honestly, at this point I am rooting so hard for Bahumi, because she keeps showing up for Zwelakhe even when his family is a complete mess behind the scenes. She could easily walk away from all this chaos, but she keeps choosing to stand by him, and that says a lot about her character. The Motalang family stepping in and standing by Zwelakhe when his own blood is scheming against him, that is going to be one of the most emotional threads to watch play out. Now here is where I have to be honest with you, because as much as I am loving this overall storyline, the mystery around exactly who Zwelakhe's biological father is has been dragged out for a really long time, and I know a lot of us in the comments last week were saying the same thing. We want the reveal, we want Mambokazi to finally sit her son down and tell him the truth instead of we the audience piecing it together from half sentences and dramatic pauses. The show clearly wants to build suspense, and I respect that from a storytelling perspective, but there is a point where suspense turns into frustration, and I think a lot of viewers are right there on that edge right now. Give us the reveal, let the family actually deal with the consequences, and then let's move forward into whatever the next chapter of this story is going to be. What I do appreciate, though, is how the show is using this storyline to explore something a lot of us can relate to, which is this idea that in a lot of black families, questioning your parents, asking hard questions about your history, is treated like some kind of betrayal. Zwelakhe is not doing anything wrong by wanting to know the truth about his own father, but the way the family reacts, the way they close ranks and shut him out, mirrors something a lot of us have experienced in real life. There is this unspoken rule in a lot of households that you do not dig into the past, you do not ask why things are the way they are, you just accept what you are told and keep moving. And when someone finally does push back against that, they get treated like the problem, instead of the actual secret being treated like the problem. I think that is what makes this storyline resonate with so many people watching, because it is not just about Zwelakhe, it is about a much bigger pattern that plays out in real families all the time. Musa's storyline is also worth mentioning here because his journey this season has been such a contrast to Zwelakhe's seriousness. While Zwelakhe is out here trying to hold the family business together and carry the weight of being the firstborn, Musa has been the carefree one, chasing fun and avoiding responsibility, but even his storyline is starting to intersect with all this family drama in bigger ways. As the paternity secret unravels and Zwelakhe's position in the family gets shaken, it opens up questions about who actually steps up as the true heir if things change, and that is going to put Musa in a very interesting position whether he is ready for it or not. I also want to give credit to the performances here, because this cast is really carrying some heavy material. The actress playing Mambokazi has to walk this tightrope of being sympathetic and infuriating at the same time, and she is pulling it off. You understand why she is scared to tell the truth, even while you are yelling at your screen for her to just say it already. And the lead playing Zwelakhe is doing a great job showing that slow unraveling, going from confident businessman to a man who is genuinely questioning who he is, without ever making it feel over the top or forced. So where does this leave us heading into the next few episodes? I think we are getting close to a breaking point. Between Dumisani closing in with whatever information he has gathered, Mloba starting to push back against his father's control, and Zwelakhe getting ready to take that DNA test into his own hands, all the pieces are lining up for a reveal that is going to shake this entire family to its core. And when it happens, I do not think it is going to be a quiet moment. Based on everything we have seen so far, it is going to happen in front of everyone, probably at the worst possible time, probably right when the family is trying to celebrate something, because that is just how this show operates, and honestly that is why we keep watching. Before I wrap up, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Who do you think Zwelakhe's real father actually is? Do you think Mambokazi is protecting someone specific, or is she just protecting herself from the shame of what happened all those years ago? And how do you think Dumisani is going to use this information once he has all the pieces? Drop your theories below because I genuinely want to see what you all are thinking. Some of the comments on these episodes have been better than the actual plot twists. That is going to do it for this week's breakdown. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss next week's episode, because from the way things are looking, we are heading into some major confrontations very soon. Thank you all so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown, share your predictions down below, and I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and let's see how this family survives what is coming for them.